Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, we'll be doing the power to destroy worlds within One Piece. The main focus of this video will be the pirate who's claimed to be able to destroy the world himself, that is Whitebeard from One Piece. This video is a sequel to my previous video, The Insane Gravity of One Piece, and I think you will enjoy it. And with that, let's get started. First things first, we just claim that Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. Let's prove this claim, or at least show reason for this claim. The main one is that in the One Piece manga and anime, it is directly stated that Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. To show that this is more than just a statement and legitimate, there is a guide, and in the guide it literally says that Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. However, I will say, this guide very likely could just be repeating the statement and saying that he's stated the power to destroy the world. In any case, a lower end for the calculation would be that of the manga saying that he is the man who can shake the world. For the most popular question that has ever been asked in One Piece, how big is the One Piece world? The method I'll be using is quite simple and one that many other people have done. I'll be using the Alabraska Island, which is absolutely gigantic, and I'll just be comparing that to the Grand Line, and then the Grand Line to that of the entire One Piece world. Because it's using the Alabraska Island, and my last video did in fact use them, I'm allowed to rip content from myself. Now, let's look at the size of Alabraska Island. To work this out, we have to do some pixel scaling. The pixel scaling involving the river is so tiny that I had to zoom in further and get 4.6 pixels for the 50-kilometer river. And then we can say that the entire Alabraska Island at 442 pixels is over 6,000 kilometers. Now we can look at how large is the Grand Line. To do this, we'll be looking at the image in the anime where they show the route that Luffy takes to the Red Line. Along this route, we can then look at the different islands and compare it with the actual islands that Luffy visited to find out which one was Alabraska, with Alabraska being the fourth one, or fifth if you include Reverse Mountain. However, there's a bit of a problem with this map, and you guys probably notice it. The islands are just blobs. They're not proper islands. For example, he should have passed both Cactus Island and Drum Island, which is full of snow, and neither of these blobs look like either of those islands. So with that being said, we have to probably use a slightly different idea to determine how large the Grand Line is. One idea I got when determining how big the Grand Line is to actually use the distance between islands. We know this because the big island of Alabraska doesn't show other islands nearby. And when we look at the fourth island, which should be Alabraska, there are multiple ones that are pretty close. So if we draw a circle, we can sort of get the idea of the minimum distance between the islands, which compares with the image of Alabraska and its distance between the islands. If you remember the consistent size for the Alabraska Island at 6,900 kilometers, we then can use the image width here at 1,280 pixels to get a distance for the image width being 90,000 kilometers. Knowing that the diameter of this circle is 90,000 kilometers, we can then look at how big one of the squares on this Grand Line map is in comparison, that being slightly smaller at 76,000 kilometers. The Grand Line itself is equivalent to 10 of these, making the Grand Line 790,000 kilometers. If we then were to compare the Grand Line to something in real life that we all know is extremely large like the Sun, the comparison will look a little bit like this. Now scaling the size of the entire One Piece planet, we're going to have to use this manga panel right here, and when we use so, we can then say that the Grand Line is so tiny that I had to magnify it as 10 times normal size just to get an accurate pixel measurement at only 15 pixels when magnified, making the diameter of the entire world when magnified at 5,226 pixels, which is over 288 million kilometers across. By comparison, once again, let's use the Sun. The Sun would be as small as this, which isn't even visible. Already, this calculation is far larger than most you see of the One Piece world, despite the One Piece world being absolutely gigantic. However, you could make the argument that the One Piece world could be larger. How we do that is we'd actually look at the area of the Grand Line to suggest how it could be larger. If we use the Grand Line's length as we've done so far and the world's diameter, we can then say the area of the Grand Line is this humongous number. which is very large. I'm not going to say it. Now, we can actually go back to what we used earlier for the distance around Alabraska as 90,000 kilometers, and then remember what the area would be from that. There's then a statement in the more recent One Piece that says that there are tens of millions to 20 of millions, uncountable number of islands. If this is all meant to be about the same on the map, these distances between islands, then we actually have an area of the Grand Line 90 times more than what my calculation actually says. For this video, we won't use this higher end because it could just be those islands are smaller ones that are not drawn on the map or too tiny to be seen from a great distance. But just keep in mind it could be larger. Now to look at the mass of the world. Using the world's diameter, we can then work out the world's radius. Then we need to use my previous video in One Piece where we looked at the gravity of One Piece. And we can then work out what the mass of the world is, which is absolutely gigantic in kilograms, so I have to say it in solar masses at 125,000 solar masses. Now, given the insane gravity of the One Piece world and this mass, I then checked up what type of black hole it would be given these properties, and the One Piece world actually qualifies to be a supermassive black hole. Now let's look at the power to shake the world. Using the mass of the world, and then we can look at how fast a shockwave through the Earth normally happens at 1.2192 meters per second, which is quite a slow speed. We get the energy of the vibration of the world to be at a dwarf star level. This should be the scaling that Whitebeard had back when he fought in Marine Corps, when he was an old man near death and nowhere near his prime. Now we're going to look at the statement where Whitebeard is claimed to have the power to destroy the world. For this, we will still need the mass of the planet of One Piece, however we'll need its radius as well. Then we can work out the bare minimum to destroy the world using the gravitational binding energy. Doing so, we find the gravitational binding energy is so large it is at solar system level. This solar system level scaling would only apply to Whitebeard's prime as the only character who we know or is claimed to be able to do this, as well as the person who's been able to match him in his prime, that being Goldie Roger. It's debatable if anyone else would scale to this level. Comment down below anyone else you think might scale, like maybe Kaido, Big Mom, or someone like that. Thank you all for watching this video. If you haven't already, check out my previous One Piece video, as this is a follow-up from that video. Hope you all enjoyed this video. In the description of this video, you'll find several other content creators, different channels that I like to shout out and send respect to. You'll see them all in the description. My Discord links in the description. Other content creators who upload more regularly than me are that of Korin and Captain Forst. Do make sure you check out their channels. Hope you all have a good day. Thank you all for watching.